I'm going to show you the answers. Check yours with mine. If you have any questions on any of them, ask. For number 1, we need to graph this and state a solution. There should have been a dashed line shaded above. Pick any solution point you want. I chose 0, 4. As long as it falls within the shading but not on the line, you're good. Anyone have questions on that one? No. Number 2, you needed to solve this first to subtract 6x on both sides, divide everything by -5. Your inequality becomes y is less than or equal to 6 over 5x minus 2. So that would be a solid line shaded below. It doesn't say 2, but I picked a random point that would be a solution. Anything in the shaded or on the line would be a solution point. Questions on that one? And then for the last one, you need to check, is this a solution? So you would put in your x and y into either the inequality they gave, or you could have solved it and put it in that way. So if you put these two in for x and y, 3 times 5 over 3 is just 5. -4 times -1/4 is +1. 5 plus 1 is 6, and 6 is not less than 6. So this would not be a solution. Questions on that one?
So if you have like a dash on the last one, like this then that would be correct.
That would have been correct. Because 6 is equal 6, it's just not less than. Yes. Did we have any Khan Academy or Delta Math questions?
Honestly, I wouldn't hold it.
You want one? I have some.
Yes.
No Khan Academy or Delta Math questions? Take out your system of inequalities notes that I gave you last class at the end. Does anyone need another one? It should say graphing systems of inequalities, that notebook at the top.
Yeah, it's only happens once every year.
Yeah, let's go on.
I'm gonna leave like 100 or something just so I When it's 2:22 p.m., I'm gonna try to find
Based on
So, because we are not doing systems of linear inequalities, a lot of the things we were just doing with graphing and writing, those are staying the same. So when we do these, you may want 2 different writing utensils or 2 different colors, a pencil, a highlighter, 2 different color pencils, a pen and a pencil, something like that.
Pencil.
Savannah. 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 These first 3 are really small for you guys. Just click down to this one, to the one at the very bottom.
You're so cute. No, it says.
All of this is on your paper already. You can't see it for this part. Yeah.
Can I write that?
Jesus Christ, man. At this point, I'm going to be able to see how ants operate. Race? They're racist?
She's trying to burn down the church. Not literally, burning food. And it caught on fire. Oh, yeah. So we were like, oh my gosh, Jesus Christ, and she turned around, she's like, it's like, especially.
This is just repeating information that you should know from your graphing stuff. Talking about the dash and the solid line, how to shade if it's greater than or less than. So when it says larger, that's really for greater than or equal to. When it says smaller, that's for less than or equal to. Anyone else still need that?
I studied it. I can barely see. So, if I actually sing the lyrics to the song, I probably get in major trouble.
Alright, for this, we are given 2 inequalities that we need to graph. I'm going to go ahead and graph the one that we don't have to do work for first. So, this one. And we graph that just like normal. If you need or want rulers, you can go grab them. So -5 would be our right-hand side where you start. -2 is our slope, so up 2 to the left one as many times as possible. Or down 2 to the right one slope. Would this be a dash or a solid line? Solid. Shaded above or below? I'm going to go ahead and make my line. Make sure your line has arrows. as all lines continue on forever and ever in both directions. Alright, above for this one would be in this area. Remember, if you aren't sure which one is above, draw an arrow up and down from the y-intercept. Up would be above, down would be below. Then we need to do the other one, but we need to solve that one first. And how would we do that?
Add 3x.
Add 3x to both sides. So we have 5y is less than 3x plus 10. And then divide everything by 5. Say that one more time.
You have to take the
Not in this case because we didn't divide by a negative. So y is less than 3 over 5x plus 2. So we have a y-intercept at 2, positive slope, so go up 3 to the right 5. And then down 3 to the left 5. Would this be a dashed or solid line? Shaded above or below? No, like I said before, or I may have, you don't need to write out those words, just if it helps you do that. So this would be something that looks like this. So below would be underneath that line.
Okay, I did this on the front catalog. That means I did it early.
So when we do this, you're looking for where the two shaded areas overlap. So if you want to outline it to show me that this is where they overlap, you can do that.
Three different colors.
B, C, B, C.
No, I mean, just to show what part is they. I'm using pens.
Hold it up. Okay, so if you're using like the same utensil or whatever, how you shade it doesn't matter. Lines, filling it in all the way, kind of not, whatever. But if you're using the same utensil, I need to see how they overlap. So either do lines in different directions, do shading one light, one dark, use two different colors, something. If outlining it you think will make me see it more clearly, do that. If you feel like that's not necessary, you don't have to do that. But only the area where they overlap would be where solutions would fall. So let's test them. -2, -2. Would that be a solution? No. No. 1, -1? Yes. Yes. 1, 1? Yes. 2, 5? No. And 6, 0?
Yes, yes.
4, 5, 6. So just like with our graphing, if it falls within the shaded area, but the overlapping shaded area, is a solution. Now in this case, if it falls on a line and you have two solid lines, it's going to be a solution. If you have one solid line and one dashed line, it could work for the solid, but maybe not for the dash. So you would definitely need to check it, and it would need to work for both. And then if you have two dash lines and it falls on one of them, it's not going to be a solution. Okay,
The ones in the next page are really hard to see.
yeah, so if you need, I'm going to show you where the shading is also, but for the others, if you need to regraph it on other paper, I have more graph paper for you.
Also, like you said,
Celeste. We are actually going to skip to this page. We're going to skip a couple pages. We'll come back to that other page. The blank at the top of this is overlapping region.
Are we getting back?
Wait, it said overlapping region?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have a very good memory.
On this, actually flip over to the back of this page. After you have this written down. Overlapping region.
Can I?
So we're going to do a couple of these together. We're going to do number 8 and do number 9, and then we'll go back to the second page. Okay. So for number 8, I'm going to go ahead and do the ones you don't need to solve for first. How would I graph this? And 2 on the y-axis, so like this.
And then drawing the solid line going across.
Yeah. So this would be a horizontal line that is solid. And then would this be shaded above or below?
Yeah.
Below.
So it's that number 2.
Then for our other one, we need to solve this for y. How would we do that? Divide everything by 8. We have y is greater than negative 10 over 8. What would that simplify to be? Negative 5 over 4. X plus 3. So then we would graph that one. Start at positive 3. Go up 5 to the left 4. And then down 5 to the right 4 as many times as possible. Is this going to be dashed or solid? Yeah.
Or
Shaded above or below? Above. So above here would be going up. So the area where they overlap would be this area right here. Sometimes these areas are really big, sometimes they're small. It depends.
why is there hair tie around this?
It doesn't ask, but someone give me 1 point that would be a solution. 8, -3 would be a solution. Do you have any questions on that one? Moving on to number 9, do you now need to solve both of these? Doesn't matter which one you do first. So for the first one, we would need to subtract 3x on both sides. And divide by what? -1. To get y is now greater than positive 3x minus 6. And then we can graph that one. Starting at -6. We're going to go up 3. The right one as many times as possible. And down 3 to the left one once. Would this be dashed or solid? Dashed. Shaded above or below? Above. Above for this one would be if I'm going up. So that would be this area over here. And then we have to do the same thing for the other one. Subtract 3x again. We have negative y is now greater than -3x minus 2. Divide everything by -1. So y is now less than 3x plus 2. And we can graph this. So starting at positive 2, the slope is again up 3 to the right 1, and down 3 to the left 1. Dash or solid. Dash. Shaded above or below. Below. So below for this one would be going down. Oh, I should probably draw my line first. For both, yep.
So,
These are parallel lines, but in this case that doesn't really matter because we still have a shaded area where they overlap. Yes. I'm gonna 2, 3 for the solution point. That would be a solution. Do we have any questions on how to graph a system of inequalities and find a solution point? Really?
I wonder how to do this. Because I kept, well, I just guessed at first because I didn't know how I understand it. I thought it was an assignment that you gave us like early on when we had already learned about it. That's why I'm actually what? Wait, 8 into your house.
For which one?
For the first one.
It is in your Yes, you're supposed to go already.
I'm not sure.
Flip back to the second page. The one had these skipped. You have to get the one. So it's kind of blurry on yours, so you may want to shade this in. So for the first one, I feel like you can see the first one, but not really the second one. But this is the shaded area for the second one. I'll scroll back up if you need it. Then for the bottom, there is multiple, but really just focus on where they overlap. So this section right here.
Yeah,
And
number 2, which ones were dotted or shaded?
I will go back to that in a second. I'm just going to show you the shaded and then we'll go back to it. This shaded area is what you need for 4. This one has a solid line and a dashed line. And then for the first two, where one of them given. Okay, so we're going to do two of these. So then that's it. One. Hold that up. We're going to go through it and then see if that answers your question. Okay, so for these, we're given the graph already. We need to find the two inequalities and state a solution. So we can state the solution without finding the inequalities because it has to be in this area, but we'll wait for that. I'm going to make these two different colors so that way when I talk about them, that's what we're referring to. No, that's not like this. So I'm going to refer to these as the blue and the purple lines. For the blue line, you can see it's dashed, so it has to be less than or equal to, less than or less than or equal to. The y-intercept for this would be what? -2. And we need to find the slope. Okay, 1. So if we think it's 1, remember we need to check it. So if it's 1/1, then there will be a point at each 1/1. That seems to work. No. So you have x, and then to determine if it's greater than or less than, and I think that's what I meant, greater than or less than instead of less than or less than. Anyway, from the y-intercept, draw an arrow to where the shaded area is. This is up, so this will be greater than. See, I'm making it writing down. Y-intercept is for it. And let's see, so we have -1. So it was -1. From your y-intercept, pointing down to the shaded area, so that would be what's it over? Less than or equal to, because it's a solid line. Right, and someone give me 1 point that would be a solution. -2, +2 would work. Do we have any questions on that? Let's do one more of those. I'm going to do number 4. And with these, I'm just going to go with red and blue. So the solid line, I know it's not colored on yours, but the solid line is red, dash line is blue. For the red, what is the line or set? And what do we think our slope is?
3 over 1 or 3.
Let's see. So we have 3 over 1. It wouldn't be 3 because that's not white. But if it's 4, that would work. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so it definitely is 4. From your y-intercept, where the overlap is, that would be down. So this would be what symbol? Less than or equal to? For your blue line, what is your y-intercept? -3, I think that is also correct. And then your slope. Say 2. So we have a guess of 2. Let's see. Go up to the red one. That looks like it follows, but let's keep going. Up 2 over 1. With this, it had to have been less than 4 because this one's not as steep as this one. Yeah, 4 is greater than. So it definitely would have had to been less steep. We just had to figure out how much. From your y-intercept, it is going up, so it is strictly just greater than. And someone give me 1 point that would be a solution. Four. Okay, what did you say?
Why don't you put us starting against the 3?
1. There's a lot of points that would be a solution.
What was it like? 22?
1, right? Yeah.
Okay,
So the very last thing I'm going to show you is how this would look in Desmos and in the calculator, and then you'll have time to practice.
okay, so basically, this so we have to look at we have to look at the lines and find this is your what's like the highest maximum that like they offer?
Bias, there are different levels of bias. It depends on your route. There's AP, a lot of math. Calc BC would be the highest if you're going to algebra. There's AP stats, there's AP computer science.
We also have to select because like
Okay, so I'm going to put one of these in Desmos and one of these in the calculator. Let's do Desmos first. So make sure you're watching.
are we allowed to use Desmos?
Now, just because you use Desmos doesn't mean you shouldn't be graphing it too. You also need to graph it. Okay, so for number 7, everyone needs to stop talking. For number 7, we're going to put that one in the calculator and in Desmos. I should probably be looking at this. So I know what numbers are.
What is it?
So in Desmos, you would put it in just like normal. It doesn't have to be in slope-intercept form. Y is less than negative 5x plus 6. Wow, that was supposed to be a less than. There we go. Or greater than. But less than. And y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 1. So it will graph both for you. You may want to change the colors because the overlapping may be a little difficult depending on the colors you get. But where they overlap, you should be able to see that. You could also put in points. So if I wanted to check it, that's directed on there. I can start putting in points and see does it fall in the shaded area, does it not. This one does not because it's not in the overlapping. 1, 1 was on the line, so you would need to check that for both. It may work, it may not, you would need to see. Questions on Desmos? Theo, as soon as I show this in the calculator, I'll write your test. Does everyone have their calculator? If not, go grab it.
Okay, what's up with that?
Reset it. Second plus 712. And then just like we checked this for the regular graphing, we're going to do the same thing. Go into apps next to math and find your equals. Yeah, I think that's what that's called. And press enter or go into it. And this screen should pop up. Apps and equals, enter.
Apps. Alpha.
Mine is different because I have 11. You only have 4. So if you go into apps, you should immediately see inequals. If you don't, let me know. What?
And equals.
Apps and equals, enter.
And equals?
INEQUALZ. And then go into y equals. And we're going to put both of these in. In order to change your symbol, you need to press alpha and then whichever button you need. So for the first one, you would need less than, so alpha window. And then get off of it and put in the rest, negative 5x plus 6. Theo, are you doing this on your calculator? Go down to the second one, hover over your equals. That one we need to be greater than or equal to, which is above graph. So alpha graph. And then scroll away from it and put the rest in. 2x minus 1.
No, the first one button.
I want to graph this.
Alpha window.
Does anyone need help with that so far?
No.
After you have these both in, Jenna, did you need help?
No, already. I was like,
No.
right here.
Okay. After you have these both in, hit graph. So yours will look like mine, except they'll both be black lines. That's crossed like this. It's number 7.
Okay.
graph both, there is a way to see this in different aspects. So if we go into shades,
With the what?
so alpha y equals, the shades option pops up. Original shade is the one we're on. So you could do that one, use that one. But what we really want is the first one. Because what happens is it graphs both and then takes whatever is not in the overlapping region away. So this would just be where they overlap.
So how do you do that?
Also y equals to get in the shades.
Alpha y equals shades, got it?
And then number 1 is the one we just did. Now you could do number 2, but that would not help you at all. I'm going to show you why. Because this is graphing everything. The overlapping and the parts that they're not overlapping. So this doesn't really help you at all. 1 and 3 do. Stay away from 2. On the third page in your notes, everyone find this page in your notes. There are calculator steps if you forget. You can use this page on the test if you need to.
Are you going to be able to use the calculator on this one?
You're going to have Desmos. You're going to have Desmos, just not your calculator. Okay? So I'm going to give you time to go to this and practice some problems. Pay attention to these. Pay attention to these and know which ones. On the first page, I want you to do numbers 1 and 2. I know they're small, so if you need bigger graph paper, grab some from the back where it says scrap and graph paper. So number 1 and 2 on the front, Michaela.
Wait, can you use a quick pen for a second before I take my keys?
Sure. And I'll go back to it. So numbers 1 and 2 on the front page. I'll come back to this page in just a second. On the second page, numbers 2 and 3. So 1 and 2 on the first page, 2 and 3 on the second page. Then on the page that we were, where it says overlapping region, numbers 1, 2, and 4. So 1 and 2 on the first page, 2 and 3 on the second page, and 1, 2, 4 on this page. You're going to work through those until towards the end of class. Towards the end of class, I'm going to pass out your review, and we'll go over these.
Like a review for a test? I can't see.
Yes, I'll go back to the
Also, when's our class?
Whatever date that says.
It's Thursday.
Look at your class.
Okay, cool. Next week.
Four, number 1 on the first page. The first one should have been a dashed line shaded above. The second one was a solid line shaded above. And this was the overlapping area. Questions on number 1?
Yeah, but I have a reason.
We're going to go to what? For number 2, the first one. Hold on, I'm waiting on everyone's voices to stop talking.
On number 2, the 11.
Hold on 1 second. Can you say that question one more time?
Number 2, 11, over 3 hour pages. 11,
Was I dropped it wrong?
That's okay. Alright, so the first one should have been a dashed line shaded above. The second one should have been a solid line shaded below. And this was the overlapping area. Questions on that one? On the second page, number 2, your two inequalities were y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 3 and y is greater than negative x minus 3. And then you can pick any point that's a solution. Questions on that, Kayla? Stop talking, please. Number 3, your inequalities were y is less than or equal to 2/3 x plus 3 and y is greater than negative 4 over 5x minus 1. And then pick a solution point that would work. Questions on either of those? On the last page, so for number 1, you need to solve both of these. It's not showing that work, but the two inequalities you should have gotten were y is greater than negative x minus 1 and y is less than x minus 5. So both dashed lines, one shaded above, one shaded below, and this would have been your solution area. This is just if you pick a point in that solution, how would you check it? You would need to put it in both and see if it works for both. If it doesn't work for both, or it only works for one, it's not a solution. Number 2, you need to solve the first one. So that was y is less than 1/3 x plus 7. We had a dash and a solid line, one shaded below, one shaded above, and this was the shaded area. Questions on that one? And then number 4, you need to solve the second one. So that was y is less than or equal to negative 3 over 2x minus 1. One was dashed, one was solid, they were both shaded below. Do we have any questions on that one? So I did give everyone the review. Don't feel like you have to work on that before next class, but you definitely can if you so wish. Before you guys start packing up, I need everyone's eyes and ears. That means I shouldn't hear anyone else talking. If you didn't do your past Khan Academy that was due on Friday, make sure you get that done. Same with Delta Math. Make sure you do the Delta Math on systems before next class. Come to me with any questions you have on that. The systems Khan Academy is due on Friday. And then if you need to still finish your last test on systems, you need to come see me after school today or tomorrow or Thursday. However, today, my after school starts later because I have a meeting. I don't know what time it's going to end, but you'll just wait outside until I'm done. On Thursday, it's going to end at 3:30 instead of 4. So keep those things in mind. Yes. I don't know. No. I'm leaving here at 3:30 on Thursday. Okay. So you guys can put your cash